Hello guys, welcome back once again to Cloud Genius. My name is Penty Joseph, and in this video we'll be building a project, an auto scaling and a load balancer project on AWS. So this is the architecture diagram of the whole project that we'll be looking at. And so without wasting much time, let's get started. As you can see, these are the components that entails in the project that we are going to build. Okay, so the architecture diagram consists of auto scaling here, which is going to be used to provision these instances. So it's going to scale in and out based on demands. Okay, and it's going to take the triggers from the CloudWatch. Okay, so the CloudWatch will be used as an alarm to check on the instance if the demand is out or in, and then basing on the demand, if it's high or low, the CloudWatch will be able to trigger the alarm, and then the alarm will also trigger the auto scaling in order for it to provision an instance on our behalf. Okay, the idea of the project is to eliminate manual provisioning of instance if maybe a website goes down. So we are trying to do things, automate things on or in the cloud, so that it helps the manual works that we are supposed to do in order for our applications to be accessible each and every time. So if you look at the diagram very well, you can see that there is a user which is making requests on the internet. Okay, this request is made via the internet, and that request goes through the security groups of the application load balancer. So the only application that will be allowed to pass through this is HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, but in this lab, we are going to use only HTTP. So it's indicated here. You see security group. So if a user sends a request and is using another protocol, this application load balancer is not going to allow it. It's only going to allow HTTP to flow through it. Okay. So if it passes through, it's allowed the application load balancer allow the flow of the incoming request. Then it will then forward it to the instance. Okay, so it will check, mostly it checks the available or the health of the instance first, and then route it accordingly. So you can see there are two instances that it has provisioned here, or we are using it on the architecture diagram. So this load balancer will decide which of the instance should receive the request that is coming in. Is it A or B? So it will check certain metrics before it delivers the incoming request. Okay. All right. So the auto scaling, which is this, also has a security group, because the auto scaling is only supposed to listen to the application load balancer. Okay, it's not supposed to allow traffic from outside the architecture diagram. It's supposed to listen to only the architecture diagram. So the auto scaling is also having a security group that is attached to it, allowing traffic only from the application load balancer. So if you make a request straightforward to the instance, it's not going to respond, because it's not allowed to communicate outside the box. It has a direct path which it has been designed to what, to flow or deliver informations. So if you want to reach out to the EC2, you need to go through the application load balancer. Okay, so you go through the application load balancer, then the application load balancer will send the request to the EC2 on your behalf. You cannot come out like the user. This user cannot make a request straightforward to the instance. No, it's going to decline it. It can only go through the web. Okay, because that is how we've designed the system to be. So as I said, it's going to scale in and out based on the demand. If the demand is low, it will scale in. That is, we will set a metrics. Okay, so the metrics that we will set here is going to be what is going to use to make the provisioning either in or out. And then our auto scaling, we are going to use launch templates. We will define launch templates is used to define the type of instance you want it to provision automatically. Okay, so it's more or less like a photocopy that has been run down, and then we go for it whenever we need what is there on the photocopy paper. Okay, so the launch template has a pre-definition of the instance that we want to launch. So each and every time we want to launch the instance, or the auto scale want to launch the instance, we don't have to go back to the auto scale and then configure it again. When we configure the launch template and give it to the auto scale, automatically when they want to provision any of these instances, it will go and look at the launch template and look at what we defined. So did we define 2.3? Did we define T2? Did we define T4? Anything that we defined here, okay, is what the auto scale will provision here. And then um, based on what we have set here, is exactly how it's going to provision the instance. It's not going to do anything aside the box of what we have done at the launch template. So that is the whole idea of the launch template on the architecture diagram. So look at it well. User make a request. The request is listening. Look at it. Listening HTTP traffic. So it's from the internet, and then it passes through a listener, and then it comes to the what? Listening to a traffic from ALB. ALB stands for application load balancer. Okay. So the auto scaling here is listening to the ALB, which is this application load balancer. It's right here. You can see it's indicated right here, application load balancer. So without wasting much time, let's start the lab and then let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm already logged into my AWS console. So we will be using the architecture diagram throughout. Okay, so we will base on the architecture diagram to do everything that we are doing now. Okay, so we need to create two security users. Sorry, security groups. Okay, we are creating two security groups, not security users. So one of the security groups is going to be for the application load balancer, which is going to allow only HTTP to flow through. And then one is going to go for the auto scaling, which is also going to allow application only from the application load balancer. But so also we will try to include SSH because we will SSH into these instances. Okay, so we will allow SSH here so that we can SSH into the instance. Okay, all right, good. So let's get started. Let's first of all create the two security groups that we will need in this project. So let's go to EC2. Then go to security groups. Okay, so create security group. Let's give it a name. So let's look at the diagram. ALB security group. So let's just do it SG G for a okay for application load balancer. Okay, so security group for application load balancer, that is exactly what is indicated here. So I'll copy the same thing and then paste it in the description. Paste that. For the VPC, we are going to use the default VPC for now. Okay. So the inbound rule is going to be um, if we are creating for the application load balancer, it's going to allow only HTTP. Okay. So inbound rule, let's try to add a rule. Click on, if you didn't see what I did, let me try to go back, add a rule. Okay. And then click here, go to HTTP, and then we want to accept the traffic from anywhere on the internet. Okay, we are not going to make it a custom. Anywhere on the internet, we want the traffic to come in. So even if you give your IP address to someone, the person will be able to reach out to you. Okay, so we want it to come from anywhere on the internet. So let's select that. That is all for that because we don't need any other thing. Then let's create the security group. Okay, the security group is created. You can see it right here. Security group for application load balancer. Let's create another one, which is going to be for the auto scaling. Okay, so let's name that one also. I'm sorry, auto scaling, or let's just do it SG for auto uh, auto scale. Okay, let's just do it for SG for auto scale. Okay, then copy the same thing and put it at the description side. Okay, so in the inbound rule, what are we to do? We are supposed to allow application coming in from the what? Application load balancer. So the request is this is only supposed to listen to this. That is the um auto scaling is only supposed to listen to the application load balancer and not any other. So how do we do that? So in the inbound rule, let's do this and then go to RTCP and then custom here. Okay, here should be custom because we are customizing it because we want it to flow to a particular what channel. So how do we select that channel? Come back here and select SG for ALBs. Okay, because that is where we want it to flow through. We want it to flow through only the application load balancer. Okay, so we want it to flow through only the application load balancer, which is exactly what we've done. Let's add one more rule. Okay, so we want this to flow, accept only traffic, incoming traffic from the application load balancer. But let's add one more thing here in the inbound rule. Let's try because we'll be SSHing into the instances, okay, or the instance. Let's add one more rule. So inbound rule, add rule, then go to SSH, and then um, let's just do it anywhere IPv4, okay? Because we want to be able to SSH into our instance anywhere we are. So that is all. Let's create the security group. Now the two security group is created. Okay, so let's have a look. Now the two security group is created. So let me try to review this. So the inbound rule. So control plus F12. Okay, I'll need a screenshot for documentation. So I'm going to try as much as I can to take screenshots. Okay. Um, so, so did I create some messages with this? And it's this. Add custom. So let me name this. This has got nothing to do with what I'm doing. It has got nothing to do with cloud computing. I'm only trying to have a clear picture of what I'm about to do. Um, hold on, let me try to check it from my other browser. So I think I have it here. So 1920 1080. Okay, it's okay. I've seen what I'm looking for. I don't need this. So 1920 and then 1080. It's it's for user rating. Let me choose desktop here. So XDD dash. Okay, so let me close this and then choose the dimension STD dash. Okay, so let me try to close this. Okay, let me open it again and then capture screen. So let me see how it responded to that. I'll be keeping that for documentation. So no, no, it's okay, but I don't need this to show. It's okay for me though, but I don't need this to show. Oh, so I can work with his. Okay, so it's fine. Okay, so let me capture the screen one more time. So capture screen. Okay, so because I want to use this for my documentation, and then let me go back to the other security group. Let's go for the application load balancer as well. So I'll try to capture this as well. F12. So just go to capture screen. So I don't need anything. Okay, so I think we can continue with what we were doing now. We are done with the two security group. Okay. So what do we have to do? Let's start creating the auto scaling. Okay. So let's start creating the auto scaling, because when we start with the auto scaling, we will have the opportunity to create a load balancer even at the auto scale session. Also have the opportunity to create launch templates. So no need for us to create this one by one before we start with them. We can start with launch template and create it though, but let's start with the auto scaling straightforward. So go back to EC2 and then open this and then go to scroll down till you see auto scaling. Okay, auto scaling. For the purpose of documentation, I'll be taking a lot of screenshots, so I'll be disturbing you a lot, but it's okay, it's fine. I'll need it for documentation. So go there and it's fine. So until you see the application auto scaling, okay, click on auto scale like this. You can see that there is nothing here. So we are supposed to click on create auto scaling group. Okay, so we will click on create auto scaling group. I think I need to look for other ways to, because when am I going to be opening? The only fact is that if you use the um the developers tool to take the screenshots, it comes in HD. So you can even zoom this. You can see this is the screenshots and this is not the actual thing that we are doing. So you can see it. We can see that we can even zoom it and then see every details of what we are doing. Okay. But if you use the sniping tool, it becomes somehow. You see, we can even zoom this and it's still quality, it's still okay, it's still showing exactly what need to be shown. Okay. So that is why I used that a lot. I was looking for other way to um looking for some other ways to do this. Okay, so 12 and then capture. Okay, so we click on create auto scaling group and then we are supposed to give it a name. So let's start the name to be Penti, no, Penti um auto, no, Penti auto scale. Okay, let's put it like this: Penti auto scale. Okay, good. Now you see, we are supposed to attach a launch template, because you can't create an auto scale and not give it a template. The template is what is going to use to launch the instance. Okay, so if you look at this one, you see the launch template is being attached to the what auto scaling here. So with that, because we don't have a launch template yet, we are supposed to click on create or launch templates here, right here. Create a launch template. You click here. You can see that when we come here, we have one though, but I think it was created earlier on. Maybe I use it for something else. So let me click on create launch template. I'm supposed to start all this again. Okay, so we need to create the launch template because right from the auto scaling that we are creating, we will need the launch template to attach it to the auto scaling that we are creating here. So just click on create launch templates and then it opens this. So let's give the template a name. I'm going to name it Penti Web Temp. Okay. So I'll name mine this Penti Web Temp. You can name yours anything you want to give it to, any name that is accepted. And now the AMI, under AMI, I'm going to choose Amazon Linux because I want to provision a Linux machine. So and then the instance type, I want to be under the free tier, so I'm choosing T2 Micro, which for key pair, I already have a key pair, so I'm using that. If you don't have, you can click on create a key pair to create your own. Okay, so a key pair is what you use to SSH into your instance. Okay, but in this case, I'm going to use a session manager, so I'll not even need the key pair. But yours, feel free if maybe you might be using Putty or any other terminal that requires for the key, then kindly create a new key so that it can download it automatically. So under the network configurations, I'm leaving everything here as default and I'm only selecting the security group. I'm selecting application. No, this one is auto scaling, so it's here. SG for auto scaling, so I'm selecting auto scaling. Good, and then so advanced, click on advanced, go down till you see the user data. So we are going to provide the user data that will load when the instance is provisioned. Okay, so I have a script here which I have already prepared. Let me paste that and then try explaining it for you. So paste this here first. Good. So we are telling the machine that this is a bash script. Okay, it's a bash command. So we are giving it this one. We are telling that the command is a bash script. Then we are installing all updates on the OS. Okay, that is the operating system being Linux. So we are installing all updates. Any updates that must be installed, we will install it with this command. And then we will install the HTTPD, which is an Apache web server. Okay, so we install the Apache web server and then we will start the Apache web server. Sometimes, even if you start it, you also need to enable it. That is why this enable is also here. So this command is also going to enable it, and then that is all. So after we have provisioned and then it's installed the web server, we need the content to give it to render. Okay, so I'm going to copy the last command, which is echo this. I will explain for you to understand. echo this and that's, and then I'll paste it here as well. So what this is doing is that it is only going to tell the browser that I think I need to make some so this the lines um okay, good. I feel like it's okay, it's still okay. There's nothing wrong with that though. Just being okay. What is wait? Okay, so we are. I'm passing out this H1 message. Okay, so you can see it. Penti Joseph. This message is from a server with IP, and then I'm tapping the name, the host name from the instance itself. Okay, so this command here will retrieve the instance IP address and then deliver it on a web browser. Okay, on a web browser. So just simple as that. It's just a simple HTML code that is written here, and we are echoing it into the system so that we can be able to see that. With yours, you can just decide to copy any simple thing. Just let me tell you, let me show you something. You can just decide to cut this. I'm adding some one or two things, so you can, sorry, let me go back. You can just decide to do away with all this. You can just do away with all this. Yes, you can do away with that though if you want, but okay, fine. To cut everything short, I'll put this in the description box for you so that you can download from there so that it doesn't look like those who are from non-tech background will be complaining in the comment section. So I'm leaving everything here as you are seeing. I'm leaving everything there to be default. Okay, I'm leaving everything there to be default, and last year, so I'm leaving it there to be default. Mistakenly deleted something. So let me see. I think we needed to do some. So, okay. So I'm just making sure that the system doesn't render it as invalid. So copy. So I'm leaving it here. Okay. So we are echoing all this into the system and then telling the system what to do when it starts. So after all, if you are done with this, you can proceed and then create your launch templates, which is very simple as that. So you can create your launch templates. Then I'm capturing the screen for documentative purposes, so you can see the full screen has been captured, everything that I've done here. Okay, so um, come back here, click on create templates. So we are done. You get this success message. After creating the template, you get this success message that you have created. So go back to your instance. You can go back to your instance and then I can do that. So I think I did. So go back to the auto scaling where you are creating, refresh this, and then select what you have created. So you realize I created Penti what? Penti web temp. It's right here. Let me select that, and then it's going to tell you everything about the instance that you are provisioning, and I think from here T2 micro and everything. Click next. No, 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 no. Let me go back. So it should be selected. I need to capture this for documentative purpose. Okay. So next, we will select. We will leave this VPC to be default, but we will select all the availability zone provided here. Okay, all availability zones provided here. So we will select everything. Don't forget, all availability zone provided there should be selected. So, but for the VPC, we will leave it there as default. Okay, but we will try to um, select all availability zone. Click next. There is another page again. There is another page again. So this page, you realize they are asking us to attach a load balancer. Okay, but we also don't have a load balancer yet. So since we don't have a load balancer yet, what are we going to do? So let's try to create a load balancer. Okay, so you can see configure advanced options, and then we are adding a load balancer. So load balancing, we don't have yet. Don't forget that from the diagram, we don't have a load balancer yet. We didn't create, we only create the two security groups. So we are going back to this, and then we will click on attach a new load balancer, because we are going to create a new balancer. Attach an existing load balancer. No, we don't have. So we are going to attach a new load balancer. When you click on that, you should get this type of screen, and then you should give it a name. So load balancer. So Penti load ALB. Penti ALB. I'm just naming it Penti ALB. Okay, Penti application load balancer. So I think it's fine. You can name yours anything you want to name it. It should be internet facing, okay? Not internal communication. It should be internet facing. So select internet facing, and then leave everything here as default. And then when you get here, click on select this, click on this, and then um, click on create target group. Okay, so let me save this for documentative purposes. After that, I'll get back and then try to let you know how it's supposed to be done. Okay, let me go back there, and then click here, click on create target group. It's going to create the target group for you automatically, because it's going to create the target group to be what? Penti application load balancer. Okay, so leave it there. We are not going to fight with it. Leave it to be. And then go down, try going down, go down, go down. Select this, turn on elastic load balancing health check. Okay, because we are going to monitor it from a CloudWatch. Don't forget. So we will need the health check of the EC2. So turn it on here, then go down, go down. From here, you can click next, documentation. So let's click on next. So This is where we are going to define the maximum capacity and the desired capacity that we will be using. Okay, so we will define the desired capacity, the minimum, the maximum. Okay, so desired capacity, we are going to need one device, and then minimum it should be one, maximum it should be two. So change your maximum to two because your maximum is supposed to be two. Okay, so automatic scaling. Now we are not going to add any tracking or target tracking scaling policy. That is, we are not adding any policy for now. We will be creating the policy later. So I'm not adding any policy for now. So just change all this one, two, and then leave everything there as default. And then okay, so click next. Click next from here again. Leave everything here as default. Okay, so we are leaving everything here as default. And then click next. Next, you leave everything here also as default, and then click next. So leave everything here as default again. Click next. Now, when it gets here, it's just going to tell you everything, a summary of everything it has done. Okay, so this is the auto scaling that we have created. Then we've attached this launch template. Don't forget it. It's giving you a summary of everything. And then going down is telling you about the network. So this is the network. And then the load balancer. This is what is telling you about the load balancer. That is the type of load balancer is using this application load balancer, and it's going to forward HTTP. Okay, so that is all. From here, we can click on create auto scaling. So for that, let me pick this. That's fine. Okay, so click on create auto scaling group. So now our auto scaling group is created. Our auto scaling group is created. Now let's open it. Okay, so we can see it. That's let's look at um let's go back to make some changes. Okay, let's go back to make some changes. Let's go to the application load balancer, not the auto scaling. Let's go to the application load balancer. Where is it? So we click on the application load balancer there. You realize that it's through the auto scaling we were able to manipulate it from the dashboard there to also create the load balancer. So you can see it's now provisioning the load balancer. Okay, it's now provisioning. Now when you go to the instance session 2, you realize that it will be creating an instance. So try and save this. There is one more thing we need to change here. So click on the load balancer and then go down to the security group. Okay, so click there, go down to the security group. So yes, captured. Okay, so go to the security and then look at it. It is using the security group of the auto scaling. Meanwhile, it is the application load balancer. So we will have to change it. So click on edit, and then remove that. Go into the security section and then pick ABL. That is SG for ABL. Don't forget application security group for application load balancer. Okay, and then save that. So now we have modified the application load balancer security group, which is exactly the security group that the application load balancer needs. So now let's go and check to see if the instance is also being provisioned. Okay, let's check to see if the instance is also being provisioned. So we'll leave this ones here and then go to EC2 dashboard. So check on this. You can see that there is also an instance that is being provisioned and is even running. Okay, so an instance has been provisioned and is even running. It's in the running state. It has even passed the health check 2/2. Okay, so let's see. Let's try to capture this. Okay, so because according to the diagram, we will not be able to come to this instances straight, even though this instance is provisioned. We will have to do something next. Okay, we will have to do something next. We will have to access it from this very application load balancer endpoint. Okay, so let's go to the application load balancers endpoints. So load balancer, click on it. Then let's look for the DNS name of the application load balancer. Okay, which is this. So click on this. Okay, click on this. I already have page names. So click on this and then let's try to access the page. Paste and go. Let's try to see if the commands that we give. Okay, everything is working now. The web server is responsive. So you can see what I said is exactly what is happening. It is now returning this. Hold on, let me look at this. I don't know. I think no, I don't need this. I need um, so, um, let me save it though, but I don't need it like that. So okay, let me try to save to do this by myself and then take a screenshot. No, no. So let me take another one, take a screenshot. Okay, so you can see that um, this is what we are getting as a feedback. Okay, so it says what? Penty Joseph, this message is from a server with IP, and then it has listed the IP or stated the IP right here. Okay, so the IP is right here. So let's go and look at our instance. Let's go and look at the instance IP. Is this what the how do you call the browser is rendering? Is the server IP, that is the instance IP, or what is it rendering? So let's go and look at it. Dashboard, running instance, open it like this. When we come here, you realize that it's not using the what? The instance of the IP of the instance that is that has been provisioned. Okay, that is not what it is using. So look at it, 172, and then come and look at the instance 3 dot. It's not using that. So let's go and look at the application load balancer. Let's go and look at it. Let's see if we will be able to locate its IP. Um, IPv4. No, 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 no. Okay, no. I think it's not a problem. That's not a major reason why we are here. I was just trying to see if maybe there is. It could be that it's being auto assigned the IPs. Okay, sometimes it happens. They don't use one particular IP, so they are being auto assigned. Okay, that's not why we are here. So let's continue with what we are doing. So look at this. Let's try to refresh this. We refresh it several times, and you see that we are still getting the same output. Why? Because our instance or our auto scaling has provisioned only one instance. So the information is coming from only one instance, and there is nothing that is changing because it is not having any metrics that is going to use to provision another instance. But it has the metrics to provision one instance though, but it does not have the metrics because we didn't create a policy. So there is no policy. Okay, so the auto scaling has only provisioned one instance. That is what's happening. If you create an auto scaling and you don't attach a policy, it's going to try as much as it can to create the instance based on the first policy that you have defined. Okay, so you realize that the templates that we attached to it, it has created one instance which is similar to that template. Okay, so let's try to create a policy. Let's try to create a policy for this. Let's try to create a policy, and then let's try. So go to the auto scaling, and then this is it. Okay, so select the auto scaling like this. Okay, so to create the policy that will allow the auto scale to provision another instance, you click on the auto scale, watch the auto scale you have created, allow it to open, and then click on automatic scaling. Okay, so there are three types that is here. That is dynamic scaling policies, predictive scaling policies, scheduled action. I'm not going to create any of the last two, but I'll create dynamic what scaling policies. So click on create dynamic scaling policies, and then there is another pop-up again asking you of what to create, because even within the dynamic scaling policy, there is another policy within. So I'm going to select target tracking scaling. Okay, good. And then the policy name is going to be target tracking policy. I'm not going to change that. So I'm going to pick the metrics from the CPU utilizations. Okay. So um for this project purposes, let me just choose 30 target value. Let me just choose 30. Leave all the rest to be defaults. Let me choose 30 and then leave the rest to be defaults. So great. So what is going to happen is that it's it automatically, what if the CPU utilization come down from wherever it is to below 30, then it's going to maintain one instance. Okay, but if it goes above 30, then it will provision another instance automatically on our behalf. Okay, that is exactly what is going to happen. So with this that we have created, it has automatically created a CloudWatch for us. So let's go to CloudWatch to check. CloudWatch. Okay. It will create an alarm at CloudWatch automatically. Okay. So there will be an alarm at CloudWatch automatic because we chose the dynamic scaling and then we have created the scale. It's supposed to. Okay. So you can see that it has automatically created what? A CloudWatch alarm here. So you come to the CloudWatch, you click on all alarms, and then you see the two alarms that has been created in the system. So what does this mean? You see there is one less than 27. Okay. And then clean this. So there is CPU utilization less than 27 for 15 data points within 15 minutes, and then CPU utilization greater than 30 for 3 data points within 3 minutes. So it's going to use this alarm whenever this alarm is pushed to any the auto scale, then the auto scale automatically will act based on the metrics that it is getting here. And then get to know that this alarm is in 3 stages. Okay, the state of alarm is in 3. So you can see that formerly it was insufficient data. Now it has become okay, and they are sounding that this one is in alarm. Okay, this one is in alarm. What it means is that the CPU utilization is below 30. So it has provisioned one instance. So the metrics has now been fed to the auto scaling group. Okay, so the auto scaling group has seen that, okay, so the utilization is below 30. How do we check the utilization? That is what I'm about to teach you next. So go back to your auto scaling, and then under the okay, so even with the auto scaling also, we could have checked its activities. Okay, so we could have checked its activities. So let's check its activity. After creating, what did it do? It first of all created an EC2. Don't forget, it created an EC2. Okay, so that is it. It created an EC2 for it. Then it's the target. It's also created a load balancer, and then it's updated its targeting and everything. Okay, so that is it. That's exactly what's happening here. And you can do that by clicking on the activities. So checking on the activities that it has done for you. So let's go and check the CPU utilization, and then we see if indeed the CPU is underused or overused. So without wasting much time, let's click on um, monitoring. Yes, click on monitoring. Okay, so when you click on monitoring, you see that it opens this auto scaling. No, we are not looking for that. Then select EC2. Okay, that section, select EC2, and then so look at the CPU utilization. You see where it is now. I think it's 6 point something, almost 6.30. It's less than even 10. That is why the less than alarm is sounding. It is telling you that yes, that information has been triggered and it's happening. So now what we are left to do is we are going to mount a pressure on the server, okay, because the server is not doing anything, so it's feeling lazy. So we are going to mount pressure on the server, and then the server is going to increase the CPU utilization to an extent that will allow the other alarm also to trigger. Okay, so this is in alarm because it is okay. It feels like the CPU utilization is below. Okay, so it's still in alarm because yes, it's indeed when you check the CPU utilization from here, 6, and then what we defined is also 30. So it's nowhere closer to even provision another instance. Okay, so how do we do that? Click on instance management under the auto scaling. Click on instance management. When you click on the instance management, then your instance, you can see it is in service, the two T2 that it has provisioned. Okay, then you select it. So select it like this. Okay, no, sorry, open it. Open your instance. So so clear this. So select your instance like this, and then click on connect because we are about to connect to the instance and then SSH into the instance. Okay, so click on connect for the sake of my documents I'm supposed to prepare. So let me keep on capturing the screen. This tutorial is going to be a bit boring, but take it like that. So click on connect, and then you can decide to connect to it anyhow you like, but I'm going to use EC2 instance connect, okay, so that I don't have to provide the key and everything again. But if you don't want to, you can use putty, or if you have a Mac OS, you can use that your terminal to also log into it, and it's okay. You can use the key, but I'm using this, okay. So I'm using this. Okay, so click connect. Don't forget that it's also going through because we have been able to go into the instance direct, but not through the internet. We cannot go through the internet and access the instance. Okay, so let's look at something here. You know that when an instance is provisioned, it has an IP address. Let's try to access the IP address to see. So if we access it, it's not going to function. Why? Because if you look at the diagram that we had, that we are using to work this, you realize that we only allowed SSH into the instance from outside anywhere. Okay, we didn't allow HTTP from anywhere. So trying to, even though that is what is hosting the web server, or that is, yes, that is the server, and that is where the information that is coming through here is being hosted. You cannot have access to it passing the back door, okay, unless you go and pass this security man before you come here. So it's like we've been able to tell the employees that we are having here that no, if another person come outside and then tell you that I am saying this, it means it's a lie. But if the information comes from your secretary, it means it's valid. Okay, that's exactly what is happening here. So we can only rely on the mailman, which is coming from outside and not another person. So that is what is happening here. That's why we've been able to SSH into this instance successfully. Okay, so for documentative purpose, let me just capture this and then try to sign into this. So the normal login is EC, sorry, EC2 dash user. Oh, sorry. I think I'm drunk now. It's already logged in, okay, because we used the instance connect. So it's already logged in. I don't have to log in again. So this is it. You can immediately you see this bed, it means it has already logged in. Okay. So now let's go and look at the auto scaling. Let's monitor the CPU. So the CPU utilization, let's go to this. Now I'm going to run a command, and that command is going to what? Install stress on the instance. Okay, so that command will install stress on the instance, and then it's going to put stress on the instance, allowing it to double from wherever it is, and then allow the other alarm to trigger, because now you can see in alarm still with the what, less than 25. So let's go there. You can see it's still in alarm. Why? Because it's still sounding, because that is the information that is being delivered, that the CPU utilization is less than that. So let's try and then install this. What will make the CPU run? So I'm going to type sudo yum install space stress dash space dash y. Okay, so I'm going to run this and then allow it to install the stress. Okay, so it has installed the stress on the server now. So the stress is what installed. So we've run the command sudo yum install stress dash y to now install stress on our web server. So if we have installed the stress, then let's go on to stress the server. Okay. So even though it has installed now, you also need to pinpoint that it should stress the server. So let me run that command also. Sudo space stress space dash dash CPU space 12 space dash dash let me input the timeout space 240 seconds. Okay, so this command also enter. Now you can see that it says what stress info, it is dispatching hot, which is going to be applied on the what CPU. So it's in progress now, trying to stress the CPU. So let's give it some time and then see what is going to happen. Allow the command to load. It's not done. When it's done, you will see the prompt. So it's not done. It's now installing. Give it some time. It's going to stress it for about 240. That is about 4 or 5 minutes. So give it some time for it to stress it. Now come back to um your CPU, then the monitoring dashboard. Come and see the utilization, the percentage where it shoot up to. So you can also see it that it is still what 6 point something. Let's try to refresh it for now so that you see that it is still 6 point something. Okay, it is still 6 point something. Now we are not going to worry much because we have run a command that is going to stress the CPU of the instance. So let's relax and then wait for what will happen. Let's relax and then wait for what will happen. So try to give it some time. It's going to take about 2 or 3 minutes to finish this. So try to give it some time. For the meantime, you can still come back to the website. Still, you see when you refresh it, it's giving you one IP address. Still giving you one IP address. Okay, still giving you one IP address. So um, uh, let's see. So we are not talking much. We are just waiting for our command to do the trick. Please don't go and run this or install this on any server that your company is using because it will be termed as a cyber activity which you can be arrested for. So don't try to do that. It's just for training purposes. That is why I'm stressing the server. So don't try to do the same thing to your physical service or yes, just don't use it. Don't use it if you don't really need it for educational purposes. Don't use it. That is why I'm even just stressing the server for 240 seconds. So that is what it means here. You can see the command that I ran. So it's still stressing it. It's still stressing it. Let's give it some time. Let's give it some time. Still stressing it. Let's just give it some time. Okay, for the meantime, is this your first time here? Then I'll kindly urge you to subscribe to my channel and you turn on the post notification bell so that you get notified if I do any other thing in future. So for now, we are done with everything. So we are done with everything. We are just waiting for our stress. Okay, you can see that the stress has been what ranked successfully, and then stress has been run successfully. It completed in 240 seconds. So 240 seconds. We are done. Okay. So let me try to capture this for document purposes. Now the stress is done. Let's go back to the monitoring page where we are able to see the CPU utilizations. Let's check it. Let's try to refresh this. Let's try to refresh this. It's still 6 point something. Okay. You give it some time, it's done. So um okay, it's still not done. Immediately we see that this is in alarm, meaning it has triggered, and then the information or the CPU utilization has shoot up. Okay, so immediately we see that it is in alarm, then we should know that, oh, this is what has happened. Okay, so let me use this place also to open the activity of the auto scaling group. So the auto scaling group, and then let me open the auto scale and then go to the activity group. Let's go down. Okay, so let's check the alarm. Still insufficient data. Okay, so no problem. Let's just wait for some time. It's going to trigger it very soon, and then that is it. So look at here, from 6 to 79.6. So look at the CPU utilization. It has triggered it from 6 to 79 point something, which has exceeded the 30 that we set. So automatically the auto scaling is supposed to provision the instance. So let's come back here to see if it's in alarm. It's supposed to be good. You can see that now the 21, less than 21 is resting, then greater than 30 is in alarm. Why? Because the utilization is far greater than 30. Okay, you can see it here. So let me save this for documentary purposes. Um, uh, good. So save it. Okay. So now let's go to the activities of the auto scaling. What is it doing? So let's go to that. Look at it. It's launching a new instance. You can see it. It's launching a new instance because the alarm has been triggered. So the auto scaling is also launching a new instance. Okay. It's also launching a new instance. You can see it. So they are saying the instance is in warm up, meaning waiting for in instance what warm up. So the instance is being provisioned. If you want to confirm that, come to the No, let me duplicate this. I'll give it a duplicate and then go to dashboard, EC2, and then to confirm if the instance is being provisioned, come to that side. So click on running instance, and then from there you realize that another instance has been provisioned. So you see it is even now initializing. Okay, it's in the initializing stage. It's now being provisioned and it's in the initializing stage. Okay, so you can see it, that is it. It's in the initializing stage. Now let's wait for it to come to check. Okay, everything is okay. Now our alarm is sounding because we've stressed the EC2 instance. So we don't need this Windows again. Okay, we can close this. I can go ahead and close this. The next thing we are supposed to confirm is, let's go to the web server and then check to see if indeed the application load balancer is working. Is it balancing? Because we know that yes, our auto scaling is working by what? Provisioning the next instance. So you can see that the instance is still in warm up here. It has not indicated that it is successful, but it will come very soon because it usually picks the metrics within few minutes. So from here we can see that the instance is okay and running. Okay, so let's come back to our web page, which is the DNS of our application load balancer. How do you get that? So come to the application load balancer. If you don't know yet, just come to the application load balancer. Open it like this. Scroll down till you see this DNS name. This is it. DNS name. Okay, so just copy that. That is what we have pasted here. So for now, look at the IP address of what we are receiving from. So I'm going to refresh it to see if the IP address will change. Okay. So 172.30 -31-34-71. So let me see. Good. So you can see that there is another what IP address that is here. Why? Whenever you refresh it, it's the load balancer is going to try to feed the information from the two different. So when you refresh, it will feed you from that. The next time it will feed you from the other one. The next time it's just doing that randomly, depending if the instance is in good condition. So let me try to take screenshot of this. No, let me put this one here. So capture screen. So um okay. So you can see that, let me close this. You can see that now our web server is taking the feed from these two what instances, meaning our load balancer is also working. Okay, our load balancer is also working. So whenever we refresh this, we are getting the feed from two different servers. Okay, two different servers, web servers. So that's exactly what is happening here. It's exactly what is happening here. So that is it. That is the end of the project. That is the end of it. That is it. This is a nice project that can be put on your CV. You can put it on your CV. So this is it. If you really like the project, please give me a thumbs up, and then like my video, subscribe, turn on your post notification bell, comment also, so that the algorithm can push the video to other people who are looking for projects like this. Okay, and then subscribe. I'll be building future projects also, so I'll try to include you as much as I can. Okay, I'll leave these commands in the post notification bell, so you have access to it if you need it to also run yours. So this is it. This is that. Okay, for now, I'm going to try and stop everything. I'm also going to include that for you, because everything we are doing is free though, but don't leave the resource running when you don't need it. Don't leave it running. You might incur cost. So don't try to incur cost by leaving the instance to run even when you are not using it, because this is just for testing purposes. You can still go ahead and then keep on testing, then it will keep on changing. So you can refresh it for any number of times you like. Okay. So what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? First of all, I'm going to try to delete the auto scale. Okay, so I'm going to try to delete the auto scale. So go back to the auto scale and then select it like this. Go to actions. Okay, go to actions like this. Try to see. So, and then delete. Yes, confirm, delete, and then delete it. So it's going to delete the instance and add a couple of things, but let me try to delete the load balancer manually. So I'm also deleting everything. So confirm, delete it. So successfully deleted. The load balancer is also deleted. And then what again did we use? Security group. So for security group, I'm going to delete them. Delete this. Oh, it's attached. So you let it be for some time. It's now deleting the instances. So let me try to delete this. It's also attached. Okay. So let me give it some time and then try deleting all those resources. They are of no use for me. It's okay. I'm done. I think this is already deleted. I don't know why. Sure. Okay. It's giving me a long process. I think it's probably from my internet. It's loading a bit slow. So, okay. So let's confirm from the instance page that everything has been deleted. Let's see, running instance. We don't have any. We don't have any. We don't have any. Okay. So I think the auto scaling is still in the delete mode. Let me try and then try accessing it. So auto scaling. Okay, it's still deleting. That is why it will shut down the instance by itself, or it will terminate the instance by itself. You can still see it from here that it's still deleting. So just to remind you, try deleting all of them. Give it some time. It's going to delete. Please delete it so that you don't incur any cost. Um, this lab was based on free resources, so if it's not in use, let's do our best to delete that. So you can even select all these ones from here and then terminate them to help the auto scaling do that. So you can go terminate or delete them. So even after deleting them, you can also come down here. You see their utilizations. So you see the instance that we give it the pressure. Yes. So you see its utilization is showing down here. So let me do this. You can see it. Okay. Yes. So that is it. Okay. So that is just by the way. Let's try refreshing. It's gone. Okay. So let me go back to the security group. Let me try and delete this. It's still associated with one. Okay. Um, the security group does not incur cost. Okay, it does not incur cost, but sometimes if you leave them, you can leave them and then try to modify them and use it for another thing though. But that is how I mostly do. I try to delete everything, including my security group, my everything. So that is why I keep on trying to delete it. Don't mind me. Okay. So that is why I keep on. That is why. But for that, it's not going to incur any costs on our um in our accounts. Okay. Okay. I think it's done now. It's disassociated with everything. Load balancer, everything. It's disassociated. Okay. So yes. What again? Dashboard. Yes. So let's check the instance. They are terminated. So terminated. Okay. And then what again? Okay, let me see if the security group will delete now. Um, so it's now deassociated, so it's supposed to delete and it is yes. So let's delete everything. We don't want any costs. As I said, the security group comes at no charge, but I'm just deleting everything. Don't forget your templates, okay? The templates also does not incur any charge, okay? But let's delete them so that later if we want to create, we can, because creating this will take us usually in some few seconds. Okay, so that is it. What again? We didn't use any other thing. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll try to put this diagram, architecture diagram, a link of that in the description, and also the commands that I ran in the description. So if you have any questions relating to that, you can check the description of the video and then have access to that. Thank you very much. Thank you. My name is Penty once again. Thank you.